Right, team, what's up? Just today, I'm going to be going through my leagues build that I've spun up. Uh, Keep in mind, there's a lot of well and truly better informed experts out there, and this is just what I'm going to be running for the entirety of the leagues. We'll see how the meta shift. I might use my respec points later on, but we'll just get into the relics now, hey? For first relic, I'm going to be picking Abundance. For every XP that you get like a little bit of coins. All the non-combat skills are permanently boosted by 10. This is like the reason why I'm picking this relic. Every time you receive an XP drop, you also gain 2 XP in the same skill. Early on especially, be very useful, but later on it's not so useful. And then for every XP gain, this is what I was talking about before, gain 2 times as many coins. This can either go into your bank or inventory. That's another easy thing. It'd be an early GP fix for me, but it won't be like pushing on down the line. It might not be that useful later on. We'll just see how good it is early, and then I might fix some of my later relics, depending. Pushing down to tier 2, I've got Friendly Forager. I'm really going back and forth between Hotfoot and Friendly Forager. It depends how good Transmutation is early. I'm obviously going to be picking that later on down the line, as a lot of people are. But with Friendly Forager, when I gather resources from woodcutting, fishing, mining, and hunter, the pouch will store and find a random herb. Super useful early on, not that useful later on. The herb's obviously limited to what my herbal level plus 25 can claim, but that's not going to be a problem with transmutation. The pouch only fires herbs that has room to store, so I've got to be like emptying it out quite often, and it also functions as a silk-lined herb sack. This is the better stuff for this relic, is that the secondary ingredients have a 90% chance not to be consumed. Pushing down to tier 3, I'm going to be going for the easy pick, Evil Eye, right here. This is just being able to teleport to any boss, like right at the boss. And the reason why I'm picking this, Bank Heist, well, that's only going to banks. And with Evil Eye, I can just teleport to Huey. There's a bank right there. I can teleport to Chambers of Xeric. I can teleport to Tob Bank. Like, it's so many different places that have banks pretty much right next to the door. Another good one, Barrows, also has the chance to either go to the chest or surface, so you don't need to be running around. I can teleport around to each Moon of Peril individually. That's a huge benefit, especially assuming every single one of us is going to be running through Moons of Peril, and it's just going to be a nightmare if I'm going to have to run through and get resources. The Eye also ignores wilderness teleport restrictions. We're not going to worry about that because we're not going into the wilderness, and the Eye can't be used to teleport to an area that you haven't unlocked. And this works with pretty much every resource, and it's a kind of a no-brainer because you don't need to have the levels to get half the requirements. That'll be a pretty good one for the PVM. Pushing down to tier 5, I'm going to be using Larcenous. This is my GP fix. If my first tier, Abundance, is not good enough for GP, I'm going to be relying on this super duper heavily. If it is a good GP fix early, I might switch to Soul Harvest. I'm not that interested in Nature's Accord. Soul Harvest is pretty decent pick here. We'll just go through Larcenous though. It's essentially the thieving relic. You get 100% success rate on thieving. You can pickpocket everyone. Also re-steal from a stall. Items obtained from pickpocketing are noted. Stalls never deplete. The amount of coin pouches I can carry is times 10. So it's just mega AFK thieving, and with Valamor, Wealthy Citizens is going to be the place for money. Pushing down to tier 6, we've got what I'm going to be going for is Eternal Sustenance. We'll go into this a little bit later in my build, but this is because I'm not really running any of the healing builds. I'm going to be running a high DPS but low healing. And then tier 7, we got Reloaded, which will be going back up through to Conniving Clues. This is purely just for points. I want to get as many league points as possible because I'm wanting to get a lot of rewards from this one, but also from last leagues. So I'm going to need a lot of points, and this is an easy fix for that. So pushing down to tier 8 now, I am going to be going for the Executioner's Axe. Did this a couple leagues ago, and it was probably the most fun I've had in leagues in a very long time. I'm not a big fan of Minion. I know it's going to be awesome, and I know it's going to be really, really good, but I don't want to play leagues to just Thrall. That sounds like the worst time ever, and like I Thrall a main game, I don't need a Thrall in leagues as well. The Flask of Fervor, it just looks like a good AoE thing. It'll probably be good for Slayer. It'll be good if you time it right for PVM, but I'm just wanting the guaranteed DPS of the Executioner's Axe. There might be a bit of competition if I end up raiding with a lot of people, but this was an awesome pick last time, and I'm absolutely going to be going for it again this time. Let's push into the build that I've created. So we'll go through my regions first. My first region is going to be Turin, purely just for the Echo Hunlif and its reward of the Crystalline Blessing. Every melee hit that you do and every powered staff hit that you do has the same buff as Crystal. That's an easy pick for me. The next is Mauritania. I want that for not only for Tob, but also for the Noxious Halberd. And after me saying Noxious Halberd, you can probably tell what kind of build I'm going for. And then finally, Karen and Zaya. This is purely just because I love Champs of Xeric, as you know, with my series on Drop Hunt. I'm going for this because I just love it. It'll also be pretty good for Ancestral, because I do plan on using Powered Staves eventually down the line. So my first few here, I've got I'm going the Blind Bag Halberd route. I'm going to be pushing up through the Halberd route first, then going through Blind Bag, and then I'll be going through the Powered Staff route. This here, I've instead of going straight through the middle to like reduce the amount of pack points that I need, I've decided to go around the side just to collect these defense buffs, and I might even get a couple that are lying around here, because I'm going to be rocking Crystal most of the time, so I'm definitely going to be needing that pretty bad. And at this point, I'm currently sitting at like 25 defense levels permanently, which is just like a permanent overload at all times. We also have almost 200% accuracy, which is going to be so helpful for the Halberd, because if you hit, you have a chance to pull out another weapon that's in your inventory and hit with that. And that has another chance to hit with that. So I want as much accuracy as possible to make sure that I'm re-procking as much as possible. We've got the Rune Ammo and Charge regen at 90%. That'll be super helpful for the Powered Staves. I'll probably be starting off with the Eye of Iak from Doom, and then we're going to push through eventually to get the Turmerican Shadow from Chambers, because this league's every single raid can drop Mega Rares, all the Mega Rares. So I can go get a Turmerican Shadow from Tob, I can go get a Twisted Bow from TOA, and I can go get like a Scythe from Chambers. Like, it doesn't matter which raid you do, you can get all 3 Mega Rares. You just got to be lucky enough to get them, right? Yeah, we've got the 1% magic damage. I'm not too worried about this because I'm going to be going for Ancestral. I don't have Kandarin unlocked, so I won't be able to get a cult, but that's just something that we'll have to deal with. We might end up pivoting this build later on, depending how good and what like the meta is for everything else, but this here is what I've been going with. Also got 10% melee lifesteal. That's an obvious one with just the amount of melee hits that I'm going to be pulling off. So now let's just push through to the early route that I'm going to be doing. I found this one on Reddit. Credit to this guy, Leif. It seems a pretty good one. He's just based the tasks off previous leagues. So fingers crossed, maybe about 80 to 90% of this will be accurate. This here, we're going to be going through and just getting as much tasks as possible. And we're going to be ending up with, I think, 1,080 or 1,020 points. If you guys want to have a proper read through this, I'll link it down in the description, and you guys can also have a look through this. Highly recommend though. I've had a little look. He's got a RuneLite plugin attached to it, so you don't even need to tab out of the game. And yeah, guys, that's about. I will end it there. That's what I'm looking for this leagues. Obviously, this is going to put a bit of a not a stop. I've got quite a bit of footage of Drop Hunt that I'm editing up right now, but it's going to put a little bit of a pause on that series, just because I'm going to be playing the absolute crap out of this. I absolutely love leagues. I don't know if you've seen my shorts, but I've been talking about it heaps in those, and I can't wait for this. It's going to be a good time. I'm obviously going to be putting out content about it, and you should be expecting a bunch of streams as well. Okay, I'm here. Where is everyone? Oh, don't tell me I'm early again. Okay, well, I suppose I'll just wait here till it starts. See you there.